No.
Wait. Okay.
Yeah. So.
Right. And then the A couple of years ago, I kind of gave up. Not caring, but I just kind of realised that I'm never happy to where I play as much as I'm happy with playing. You know what I mean? When I play, I'm really happy, but I can never. I just start getting really picky with it. You know.
New musicians are never happy, except people that think they're great for the wrong reason.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah, so the lady and the island.
Yeah. Okay.
Music was the only thing these people had. I mean, the only other time they had music was when they came to a fair or a wedding. There was music there. So music was a huge thing for these people. So their hearts and soul went into it. With the result that all their energy went into this music. I mean, today we're so distracted. We're running in 1,000 different directions. These people were relaxed and they had the tune, one tune, a new tune came to the locality, and that tune would be played and worked on, and it might be 3 weeks or 3 months or 3 years sometimes before another new tune came. Today we're awash with it, you see. That's the problem. So they put everything they had into that music, and they made it. They brought every little nuance and trick, you know, with sliding up the notes, as we said with the fiddle. And of course it was nearly all fiddle that time. There was no boxes that time. The boxes came later. There were flutes, of course. Very few on the concert flutes. Anyway, they were playing for these dances, as I said, all night. So they made this music as humorous and as interesting and as varied as they possibly could, without still breaking the rule that people could dance to it. So for people that came from outside, or people that maybe hadn't the time to put in to become as good as this, it seemed that what these people were doing was magic, was drift. And of course, for real lovers of music, when you hear something taken to another level, well then it really takes you, you know, and it really brings you with it. And of course, if you are a musician, the taking is that you want to come to that level as well. So you really give it everything, every bit of your focus goes into that music. And it takes you on the trip along with it. When we're talking about the people of Sliabh Luachra, we're talking now not about musicians, but about the people. These people got up in the morning, and they got up early. And they faced the wilderness, as they say, the wild mountain. And they had to make a living. They had to find a way to feed cattle or whatever other animals they had, and they had to get enough food from that ground that was there beneath their feet by growing their own vegetables, by rearing pigs. And if a pig got sick, it was a huge loss, because if these people lost any animal like that, it was a huge deficit that they had to make up some other way. If the potatoes got blighted, they were in serious trouble. So life was a tremendous reality for those people. They had to live in the present moment. You know, I mean, in the world today, there is so much of a superabundance in our Western civilization that people have come to the point where they're entitled to a living. When the social welfare system came out in England first, the famous writer Somerset Maugham said, "What," he says, "you mean to say that men are going to be paid for the fact that they're alive?" It was such an unusual concept. And it's true, of course. So, what has this got to do with Sliabh Luachra music? It is everything. These people, they grew their potatoes, they killed their own pigs. I'm talking about the rural people living out in these, and the villages the same. They survived on what they produced with their two hands out of the ground. And the only time they had music was when a bird sang, or when they went to a fair and heard a man sing a ballad or an itinerant musician. And the only time they had a gathering together, it always transpired that they had somebody either to play music or to lilt music, puss music, and they danced. And this was their art form, this dancing and this playing of music. So all their creative energy went into this one avenue. There were no artists around that time, or no sculptors, or no writers, except a few poets, and their art was sort of the same art, in that the poetry was sung as well. But when these people danced, they were together. They had to be together, because if they weren't together, they wouldn't survive. When a person got sick, his neighbour came and milked the cows, and when the neighbour got sick, he went and milked the cows. You know, they had to pull together, so that when they came together, a day of a wedding, I remember some weddings when I was a kid, 9, 10, 11 years of age, in the house, that this was a huge occasion. They forgot everything. They were here to have fun. And these people, there might have been some inhibited people, but most of these people, they just had fun. They were childlike people. They had the fun of children. So they danced, and they danced with their heart and soul. And the people playing the music were part of that. So this grand exuberance of spirit that these great people had, these were our ancestors, that grand exuberance of life went into this art form of music and dance. And the two are inseparable. That if the music is without dance, it's only partly there, you see.
But even the bogs, the bogs up in Sliabh Luachra are man-made. In that it was like thousands of years ago, the farming methods were so bad that they created that thing called iron pan. They wouldn't have the technology and the plough deep enough in the soil to break up the iron pan, and that caused the bogs. So people moved out of Sliabh Luachra, that area, like that mountain area, in around the time of our Lord. So I think there would have been very little people living on there until, like Paddy was saying, till after the Normans, and when the law and order was so bad for hundreds of years, people would have been hiding out there.
It was a worthless bog. So that some of these people, I can think of the Lawlers, but there were more names, Moors, they were dispossessed finally by the powers that be up around Longford and Offaly, and they came down there, and these were well-educated people. They brought that culture with them into Sliabh Luachra.
Yeah.
And that started off the revolution again in learning and the reverence given to learning. You see, these are all facts that contribute to the Sliabh Luachra thing.
Yeah. Where would I pick out Sliabh Luachra? So I just picked out where, like, the remnants of all those people who made the bogs, like the farmers, they left all the standing stones, and the main kind of drift over there is like in that kind of centre between Castle Island and over to kind of west of the market and up to the banks of the field. You see all their remnants there.
They had to find a way to make a living off of that ground. If you go walking around these areas, all within 20-mile radius of Rock Chapel, you'll see little houses that were built inside in swamps. Those people had to get up in the morning, and if they didn't catch a hare or a rabbit or a fish in a river, they were hungry, and their kids were hungry. How they lived is beyond belief. And it's amazing that with years and years, generation after generation, they drained these fields working in the winter. The men, fathers, the sons, the grandsons. And with the cattle, they put out the cattle and the bit of dung that the cattle had, and they gradually changed these mountainsides into green fields. So we are trying to recapture this grand spirit of these people, but we're in a different world. We're in a world where there's no necessity. There's plenty food. There's plenty everything. We don't have to worry. So that if we eat too much and there's an abundance, well, when it comes time to eat, we haven't that appetite. So when these people came to have fun, they had this appetite and they enjoyed themselves. Their spirits went free and they soared. And that's why it was so good, I think.